Labour's new policies are about to change the UK property market forever. But after building a 22 property portfolio and helping hundreds of people get started in property, I know exactly how to get around these rules. So in this video, I'm going to show you what these 5 changes are, how they're going to affect landlords, and what you can do to continue making money from your properties. Let's start with the first change, which could cost you thousands of pounds, and it happened to me recently. So I bought this 2-bed bungalow back in 2022 and something unexpected happened. My tenant stopped paying rent. Suddenly, I had a problem. How do I get them out of my property? Because every month the tenant stayed, I was still paying for the mortgage with no rent coming in, and I started to lose money. Right now, landlords use something called Section 21. Section 21 means you can ask a tenant to leave when their tenancy ends without needing a reason. If the tenancy is nearly finished, Section 21 is a lot quicker than dragging things through court. But here's the problem. Under the new Renters' Rights Act, which has now officially become law, Section 21 is being scrapped. So you won't be able to ask a tenant to leave at the end of their tenancy like you can right now, which means if you're unlucky and get a tenant who stops paying rent like I did, you're stuck using the longer Section 8 process instead. I've been through Section 8, and with Section 8 you have to pay court fees, pay a solicitor to represent you, and the whole thing drags on for months. You lose thousands of pounds and it's stressful. So how do you make sure this doesn't happen to you? Now the reality is not all tenants are bad. Most will pay on time and take good care of your property. But these 3 steps means you're better prepared for the rare bad apple. First one is strong referencing. Check their income, their credit history, and make sure to vet tenants properly. If you're doing it yourself, a site like Goodlord can handle the referencing for you. The second thing is rent guarantee insurance, which I've started to use as well. For about £30 to £35 a month, you can protect yourself against missed payments. If the worst happens, you'll still get your rent while the legal process drags on. And finally, get a guarantor. A guarantor is someone who agrees to cover the rent if your tenant doesn't, and it gives that extra layer of protection against missed payments. I personally think there should be a tenant database like the one us landlords have, but until then, focus on these 3 things. It won't stop all risk, but it will massively reduce it. But that's not the only big change. The next one changes how long tenants can stay, which will make your income less certain. So right now, renting a property is like running a gym with fixed term memberships, whether they're 12 or 24 months. By having these fixed memberships, you as a business owner have more certainty because you know how much money you'll be making in the future. But now, under the new Renters' Rights Act, all tenancies are being changed to rolling monthly agreements, meaning there's no fixed end date anymore. So now it's more like a Netflix membership where your tenant can cancel and leave the property anytime. This gives tenants more flexibility because you can't just say your tenancy is up, you need to move out. They decide when to leave. And the worst part is you're left unsure how much money you'll make or when, because there's no fixed agreement anymore. So let me show you how to make these new rolling tenancies work for you instead of against you. As a landlord, you've got to think like a business owner. Plan for flexibility to make sure the deal still works, whether your tenant stays a few months or a few years. You do this by following the 3 C's framework. Number 1 is staying in control. You've got to be on the ball for this with good management and a system to find new tenants quickly so your income doesn't stop when someone leaves or stay for longer than you expected. Then always keep a cash flow buffer so you're covered if a tenant leaves early. That way you're not left scrambling for your last pound. And the third thing is setting clear communication with your management agent or tenants from day one. Everyone should know what happens if they plan to stay or move out. So before your next tenancy starts, put the 3 C's in place. That way you'll stay in control no matter how the rules change. But even if you stay in control, there's something else that's going to limit how much money your property makes you. Now imagine opening a restaurant and being told you can only change your prices once a year. If staff wages go up or your supplier doubles their prices, you have to charge the same. That's basically what the Renters' Rights Act means for landlords. Rent increases are now limited to once a year. They have to match market rates. Plus, tenants must get at least 2 months notice before it changes. Right now, landlords have more flexibility, but this change locks you in for a year at the rent you set. And we've already seen this happen in Scotland, where rents were frozen to help tenants, but the opposite happened. Landlords just raised rents higher at the start to cover themselves. So what should you do instead? Here's a simple framework you can use, and these 3 steps will save you thousands of pounds down the line. Step 1 is to set the right rent at the start. Don't underprice just to rent it out fast, and think about the next year. Research what homes are actually renting for using Rightmove and Zoopla. Next, buy where demand is strong. If tenants are queuing up, you've got more control of things. And then the third step is think long-term cash flow. Run your numbers with a buffer for rising mortgages or energy costs. That way, even if you can't raise rents, your deal still works because you did the maths up front. Don't stress over rules you can't control. Just plan smarter and your property will continue paying you for years. Now, you can have the perfect tenant, the right rent, and solid cash flow, but if you're not ready for this next change, it can get you in serious trouble. So imagine you've just bought a property, you hand the keys to the tenant, everything's fine for a few months, then one day you get a message from your tenant: there's mold on the bedroom wall, can you please sort it? Before, repairs like mold or damp were treated like a slow puncher, a bit of a hassle, nothing urgent, but something you need to fix soon. But under the new rules, it needs to be treated like a flat tire on the motorway. You stop everything and fix it as soon as possible. You can't delay the repair the way you might have before, because with this new change, you've got 24 hours to act and start dealing with these kind of repairs properly. So even if you're on holiday or your builder's busy, you're still responsible and could get in trouble. So here's how you handle these repairs the right way. The first thing is reporting. Make sure that your tenants have an easy way to report problems, ideally in writing or through your agent. The faster you know, the faster you can act. And then the second step is to respond. And what respond means is to acknowledge the problem within 24 hours. You don't need to fix the issue instantly, but you do need to show that you've started dealing with it. Message your builder, log it in, and book the job as soon as possible. And then the final thing is resolve. And what I mean by resolve is be a good landlord, get it sorted quickly, keep proof, photos, receipts, messages in case anyone questions it later. If you follow these 3 steps, you're going to stay compliant, avoid fines, and keep your tenants happy, and that's what it's about. But even if you respond fast and do everything right, the next change still takes away one more bit of control from landlords. So when I finished refurbing my 19th property, like always, I wanted to get it rented quickly and listed it for £800 a month, which would have given me a solid return. And within the first few days, we had 7 viewings for the property. 3 people offered the full £800 straight away, which isn't unusual. But then a day later, we got into a bit of a bidding war because one of them messaged saying, I know you've got other offers, but I really want this property, so I'll take this for £850 a month and I'll move within the next couple of weeks. And naturally, I thought, perfect, that gets me more money than I'd planned, so I can't complain. But under the new rules, you can't do that anymore. You have to stick to the listed price. It's like putting your car on Auto Trader for £10,000, and even if someone messages offering £11,000, you're legally not allowed to take it. So if bidding wars are banned, here's what to do instead, especially in high demand areas. Landlords need to be smarter now. Research your area and set rents that are competitive but still affordable to avoid long voids. Voids just means the time when your property is empty and not earning rent. You could set the rent slightly higher at the start, but just make sure there's enough demand in that area. If you're not sure, work with a local agent, ask them, and most of them are happy to help you. Then make your property stand out, give it a good clean, and get professional photos taken like I do. It's a small cost that makes a big difference. And the final thing you want to do is focus on keeping occupancy high rather than squeezing an extra £50 a month. I know this from experience that consistent rent, even if you don't get a big raise later, beats vacant weeks every single time. So now you know about the new changes that are coming. But if you want to make money as an investor, there are 5 types of properties you need to avoid, and that's what I'll show you in this video. So I'll see you over there.